Rappa. I'm here at Cross Campus in Silicon Beach with Ferial Moloo. 365 Hangers. How is it going?
It's going really good. I'm excited if more for US and Germany at the same time as to be able to. Yeah, I'm excited. It's a good day to be here.
Yeah, great day, great energy.
Yes,
absolutely.
exactly.
Absolutely. So, Ferial, tell us about what you're doing with your business in general first, and then we'll talk a little bit more about your app.
Sure. So, 365 Hangers, the company actually started like almost mid 2010 to late 2010. And then when we launched the company, it was more about catalog. It was more about e-commerce. E-commerce was growing really fast at that time. So we actually launched the company in that space. And then probably by late 2012, 2013, what we saw that our engagement was a lot more on our social media channels. Engagement was a lot more in blog, in content. And that's when we were like, you know what, it seems that we are able to grow much more rapidly in digital content that has to do with fashion and lifestyle as compared to compete with very saturated e-commerce catalog business.
Right.
And that's when I think we started making the transition to where we are at today.
Okay. And so now 365 Hangers, that is a product.
Yes.
And you sell the product.
Well, the product is actually strictly content, like, digital content.
Okay.
Getting distributed through web, through social media, through video, and of course gamification is a big, asset for us now.
Right. And so now, and we will get into the gamification piece of it, because that is very much of interest and a lot of detail to that.
Yes.
How did you get the concept, or how did you arrive at the concept to do the 365 business model?
Okay. So, 2010, going back there, right? And that's where I was just having a conversation with my husband, and he's already in tech industry, very, amazingly involved there. So he's like, you know what, the way consumers are going to connect with products, with services, with information is going to change very rapidly. And he was like, it would be a great time for us to test something. And I'm like, I've been thinking about it. I like to be able to get into the online shopping space and see how, high-end brands can be taken to a girl next door. So that was the initial concept. It's like, get in the fashion, look at the online fashion space and see how we can create, that presence. So that's how it all started, strictly as online shopping.
When it comes down to females in tech,
yes.
How do you feel about being a female in tech?
There's pros and cons. That's the way I look at it. One con, of course, that you're always competing with a very male-dominant space.
Sure.
And you have to be very loud, to be heard. That's one. The second thing also, I think it's a really huge benefit is like if you go to a meetup, if you go to a conference, if you go to a convention, that is tech driven, and there are presenters, and there are 40 presenters, let's say 35 they are all male and there are 5 female, your audience are very much into what she has to say.
Oh, so you stand out.
You do.
Yes.
Because they are like, she must be doing something very exciting, something very different because she's here.
Right.
So I think that's a big privilege or a benefit, because then they are like, I want to hear her. I want to be able to hear what's her idea. She has to be super smart to be sitting here.
Sure.
So I think that's a big benefit. So you can actually take that and use it for your advantage.
Sure. Absolutely.
So I feel that, yes, you can look at it that, you have to compete more aggressively. You have to fight harder.
Right.
But at the same time, it's easier if you have a good model, if you have a good pitch. They're probably going to pay attention to you a lot more as compared to 35 others.
That blend in together, yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's what I think. And that's what I have felt and experienced.
Very exciting to hear that. We don't always think about that as women. We think about the idea of...
yes, it's like, are
we even gonna be noticed?
Right, yeah. Right. No. I do, I was at a conference just recently, and I was presenting, and that's the same question they asked. And yes, it's tough, but you do have an advantage. And as long as you are able to grasp it, you can actually make it work for you and not against you.
Sure. That makes sense. Okay, and so now leading into, you've developed the business model for 365, and then you felt that you needed to add the gamification element.
Yes.
How did that connect? How did that come together?
You know what? I think what was happening is probably until a couple of years ago, fashion and technology, they were very separate. They existed in silos. Fashion was like, just clothing and trend. Technology, you are like, the gadgets and the new software, and what started to happen is like fashion and technology started to come together really well. Probably early 2013, 2012, you started hearing a lot more, conventions, conferences. They were actually merging them together, and that was a great opportunity because it's still technology. Social media is very much, embraced by fashion very heavily, but as far as, if you look at the gamification or other more progressive tech platforms, fashion is not yet open to that. To be able to sit with him and brainstorm and be able to learn that what's new, because he's like a hardcore technologist. So I felt that this is a great time to test all over again, bring technology, and at that time gamification is probably the second or even second after social media to enter fashion space. So for me it's like, okay, this is good. And having access to more than 40,000 on our social media, by 2013, we were like, we can test it out. We already have access to a very engaged audience, and game is something that, if you look at the demographic that we actually are reaching out to, our market is female between 18 and 30. Yes. So you see they are using iPads, iPhones, a lot more. And funny thing, I was just listening to a conversation on radio yesterday where they were like, females consume more technology than guys. They do not produce, but they consume more. Right. So that's a great, information for me. Like, it makes a lot more sense. I'm doing the right thing. You have these girls who are constantly on their phones. If you look at how many pictures a girl takes as compared to a guy, I mean, look at the photo album and you will see a huge difference.
Right.
If I have 1,000 pictures, another guy probably will have 40, in his. So this tells you that if you create a game that has to do with existing archives of amazing images, you would be able to do it really well.
Sure. Okay, well that's really fascinating to think that that women actually consume more than men in the tech. The game itself. First of all, the name.
Yes.
Is
Style Scavenger.
And then the concept. What is the end goal with Style Scavenger?
Okay. So the game itself, why one more photo contest app? Why is it that we are launching, or we launched another app that has to do with pictures? Because you have two giant platforms, Pinterest and Instagram, that's there, right? And everyone use that for uploading, for sharing, for liking.
Right.
But, when you look at Instagram, you upload an image 9 a.m., you get 200 likes. By 9:50, no one remembers you.
Right.
You're gone. You have a huge collection of thousands of images that's just there. If you look at Pinterest, you get likes, you get shares, you get reprints, and then what?
Right.
So it doesn't go anywhere beyond than just the current engagement that happens, through likes or shares or, commenting. So with Style Scavenger, what you are able to do is you actually create a catalog of your inspiration. What inspires you. When we look at a fashionista, we are like, this is not about clothing. You are a fashionista because not only what you wear, what you eat, where you go, the travels, the food that you eat, the people you hang out with, the books that you read. It's that's what makes you a fashionista. So keeping that in mind, we actually created, those categories, from fashion, from destination, from food. So it's all so bringing those styles trends, right?
Right.
So you're able to create a catalog of your inspiration that has to do with these categories. Then as you are uploading images, you can also pick and choose to play different challenges. And you can use the same image from your catalog to play a challenge. Now you can earn points either by playing a challenge that you can get a lot of points, or keep uploading images and you can compete for different levels and you get different badges that can also give you points. So you're able to earn points either just by creating that inspirational catalog or by playing challenges. Now you have this bank of points. And then you can take those points and just go to our redemption center where we have rewards in actual gift card from companies like Sephora or Ulta, Sprinkles, iSkin, Simply Bridal. These are all lifestyle trendy companies that actually is very aligned with the fashionista who's playing the game.
Right.
So that's the idea behind that. That yes, you have pictures, but there has to be some kind of a reward for the fashion that you showcase, through your catalog.
Right.
So that's what makes it different. That with other picture collection platforms, they are there. Nothing goes beyond than just getting liked and commented. Here, you're actually able to create the catalog, get engaged with other players, play the challenge, and then redeem your points for these gift cards that can be anywhere from $5 to $500.
Wow. And so how many players do you, because the app is fairly new.
Yes, it's very new.
How many players are you seeing on a regular basis?
Sure. So we launched our iOS in just November, and that was another learning for us because we were thinking that 90% of our potential players, they all use iPhones or other, Apple devices, and we learned that no, Android has a huge market, and we were thinking that we're just going to sit for a year before we bring Android version of our game. But by February, we are like, no, we need to move very quickly and bring Android as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
So now we just launched like 2 weeks ago our Android in Google Marketplace, so that's there. So in last 6 months, at this point, we are around 4,600 plus players without aggressive marketing.
Wow.
Because we were waiting for our Android that hit the market just a couple of weeks. So now it's all about going out there, talking about it, and a lot more marketing than before. So just from our existing audience and by pitching to them, we are at 4,600 plus. And we are happy, yes.
Yeah.
So very, very engaged. You have probably daily downloads that happens at right now. We are almost 30, 50 plus downloads now. And I see us to get to 100,000 very soon.
That's great. Yeah.
Yes.
And so what's the next phase? Is it to continue partnering with these bigger companies and doing these types of collaborations? Be more on the cutting edge of maybe additional modules and different things like that?
We do see partnership with companies. It's a great strategy. One of the reasons we were able to bring some of these companies to partner with us when we launched our game is we already had existing relationships with them. We do really super creative social media campaigns. We have worked with companies like Zoo Shoes and Sprinkles and a lot more of such caliber. So I see there's a great potential in partnerships. These markets, they want to talk to our market. They want to reach out to this demographic that we have access to. So I do feel that this kind of synergies are going to stay. It's going to even get better.
Yeah.
We are in touch with some really high-end established brands where they're super excited to be able to look at what we are doing on this platform, and we are hoping they will be on board by mid this year or later this year.
Great.
Mid is already here, later this year.
Yes.
And so that, of course, will continue. Partnerships will be there. I do see us bringing more products that is tech-driven, but keeping, the essence of us in fashion, in trendy lifestyle, working with brands who are disrupting, this space, at the same time creating those collaborations that show us as a really savvy company that knows how to bring technology to fashion and be able to merge through some exciting products. So yes, I do see us bringing new products probably in a year or a couple of years.
I'm Patty Rappa here at Cross Campus, iGirl Tech News, talking with Ferial Moloo.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you.